Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton, and now we're going to talk about Pro holes 8 through 13. So I was able to accomplish, quite a few more holes on my lunch break. This is it for Pro today. The rest of Pro will be out early tomorrow morning. Thank you for the patience, and I do my best that I can to get stuff out as soon as possible. If you're not a subscriber, please become one. It would really mean a lot to me. And secondly, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up before you leave the video, that would be awesome too. And I just dropped my phone on the table, but luckily no cracks. All right, here we go. We're gonna start off with hole number 8, okay, because that's where I left off. And then, we got to talk about this for a second. So I've got 2 different ways you can try to play hole number 8. Now, the first way I'm going to show you is if you don't want to be extremely aggressive. Okay, this is going to be a bounce over shot. You'd be hard pressed to mess up the birdie on this hole. I think you can dial it in for a hole in one, but it's going to be tough. I would use probably a kingmaker to reduce the wind. I was just kind of fooling around with this shot as I've got a much better shot for a hole in one, but that's going to be very, very dangerous. Here you see we're going with 1 bar of side spin to the left, almost 3 back. We'll call that 2.7, 2.8 back. Obviously your backspin would vary depending on the wind strength. Now with using a navigator ball, we're going to have a pretty wide wind variance here, so just keep that in mind. We are aiming significantly left of the pin, which you'll see right here. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I do believe we at least want to go with like maybe a kingmaker or a katana, because I think we're going to need a little bit more side spin to get this one to get close to the hole. But you see here, we come up short, and that's why I say the backspin is going to vary depending on the wind strength, because there's other balls in practice where I went a little longer, went a little shorter on that one, but that's a safe shot for birdie, okay? Now we're going to talk about what seems to be a money shot on this hole. Now, this shot was sent to me by a few different people on Tuesday, right? So during the qualifying rounds. Obviously, it was too late for me to put it into practice because I had already qualified my accounts and made my videos on Monday for the qualifying round. But, they told me today that this shot is dead money again, and they said they did recommend using a money ball if you have it. So we're going to go with the wind resistance 5 ball, power 1. That really seems to be all that we need. It seems to be the wind resistance, which is going to be the one that really helps us out. Now, you could definitely do this with a kingmaker, or whatever. You could probably even do it with a navigator, but it's going to be a big, big wind pull. And you're not going to want to really pull anything over 5 rings, in my opinion. But watch this shot. I've got multiple hole-in-ones on it. Full top spin with your sniper, and then about 0.2 bars of left side spin. Now, you're going to notice here that the ball guide line is aiming on the right-hand side of the cup, but look at this very, very, very thin strip of fairway that we're working with, or the rough that we're working with for the rough bump. And then I zoom in here to show you that our entire ball guide line is going through the right-hand side of the hole, and you've got to wiggle that target around to find the correct landing spot. If you're going for this shot, I definitely suggest that you practice it a few times. I actually practiced this shot 3 times in practice mode with money balls, just because if you miss that rough, you're probably sending a flyer into the sand. So keep that in mind. But here, this is a very wonky pull. As you can see, the distorted rings. That's why I say that we probably don't want to pull over 5. I mean, it's probably vital that we hit a perfect ball on this shot, which we do. We hit the rough. And look at this line. It goes right to the pin, and it's in for a hole in one. That was 3.2 mile per hour wind. And I've got another one here in 3.7 mile per hour wind, which you'll see next. 3.7, same thing, full top. A little bit of left. And then notice here, I've got to wiggle this around until I find the right spot. This is what's going to take you the most time. But same thing, once I find it, exact same ball guideline, flip this thing around, we go 1 to 1. And the one thing that I would point out here, that when I'm using this Win 5 ball, every hole-in-one that I got, and I have it several times, I'm only showing you 2, because I've got 3.2, 3.7, 3.7, and 3.6, so I'm only showing you the low one and the high one. But you'll notice here, every time I pull this, it seems to be pulled to the +1 yard mark as well. I don't know if that means anything, but every single time there, when I'm playing at 1 to 1, it's pulling to the +1 yard mark. And that shot is money, man. I mean, it's a really good line, but like I said, it's a super, super thin patch of rough. So, you know, no guts, no glory, right? All right, that's it for that one. Now we're going to go to my least favorite hole in this course. This is going to be hole number 9. We're going to go with a Titan ball. We're going to go with a rock, and we're going to go with our big dog or your Cataclysm, whatever you want to use. Here I'm going with topspin. I want to talk about this topspin. I want you to reduce this topspin to half a bar of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the left. The reason that I say that is because on my other account I was hit with wind in the 6, and I barely stayed on the fairway, okay? So I want to go half top, 2 left, and then I want you to curl the ball just like this. And the reason that we're using that left curl, even though the wind is blowing from right to left, is because we really need to get onto the left-hand side of this fairway to make sure we avoid not getting stuck behind that tree right there. This is a great shot. This is ideally exactly where you want to be. That'll leave us here for shot number 2. We play at 10% at max. Okay. We're going to go with our top spin combined with 2 bars of side spin to the right. Here we're not going full top spin. We are getting a tailwind push, so we have to be very careful with that. We're playing in the gap between these 2 trees here. And then don't forget your little bit of overpower. Little bit of overpower combined with about half a ball of curl. Now, on my other account, I did forget the OP. I did get stuck on the bottom of the fairway, and I did not make the chip-in shot. It's a very odd line to the pin, so don't mess up like me. Don't forget your overpower, and that's also a reason why we're not using full topspin. Okay, hole number 1. Now, this hole number 1 is going to be a little bit weird for everybody because we're essentially getting a crosswind angle, okay? And for me, look, I'm getting dead crosswind, which is great. In practice mode, I received crosswind mixed with a little bit of headwind, so you may get that as well. That's why we're going with this type of shot, and that's why we're using a Power 5 ball. We're going to go 10% at max, and then we're going to push back up to max. The thing is to watch your top spin, okay? Especially if you're getting more of a tailwind crosswind angle. So we're going to leave ourselves with 1.5 bars of left side spin, and we're going to use between 5 to 5.5 bars of top. I'm trying to get my ball guideline to look just like that. Notice how it's hitting the rough and then it's rolling out. That's what's going to be very important on this shot. And you can see here that I've got the orange ring right up there on the rough line, a little bit of the orange ring in the rough, and then we make our push back up. Here we take a normal shot with a little bit of curl to the left. We use a little bit of curl to the left because we're getting a significant wind push to the right. And this is good. This is where we want to be. This is a well-executed shot. That's going to leave us here for shot number 2. Shot number 2 I'm super frustrated with because I was here on both of my accounts. I missed it on both of my accounts. So there's 2 different ways you can play this. The shot you are going to see me play is 10% at max. You can try 20% or max at max, or you can go 30% with a slider. So for you all who are good with slider, I would suggest 30% with slider. If you're not good, then I would just go 20% at max. apply your backspin. I believe it's around 4 bars of backspin. Okay, so 4 and a click of back. And then we just want our ball guideline to be flattened out just like that. Now I think on this one I pull like 9 rings or something like that. Like I said, I pulled at 10%. But I'm still going to miss this one to the right, which is super annoying to not pick this up on either of my accounts when I hit the drive perfect. So if I'd have played at 20%, we're probably looking in the hole. So that's it for hole number 1. I really hope you guys have better luck than I do on that one. Hole number 2, finally. Now, again, this is a shot that I practiced. I don't know how repeatable this is going to be, okay? And the reason that I say that is because this is my first wind under 5 miles an hour. Everything in practice mode was over 5, and I kept missing to the right-hand side, but barely. So here I'm going to go with 1 bar, a side spin to the left, and then just a baby amount of backspin. And here's what I was looking for, because I was getting close. So kind of take a look at the end of the ball guideline. Take a note of where it's aiming at, all right? Then here we just pull 1 to 1, which is 10% at mid with a power 3 ball. So we're going to pull this 4.8 rings. Perfect ball. And I was actually surprised this ball went into the hole. It does go into the right-hand side. Like I said, in higher wind, I was missing to the right-hand side. That was a very surprise hole-in-one for me, so I'll take it. All right, hole number 3. Hole number 3 is going to be tough, okay? We're going to be getting a headwind angle. So I'm using what is one of my favorite balls in the game, which is the bubble ball. I love the P5. I love the wind resistance 3. I love the side spin. Here, I want you to use as much top spin as possible, combined with 2 bars of left side spin. I want you to put your yellow ring on the rough line just like that. Some of you might have to use a berserker, and that's totally fine. But if you have a P5 ball, the higher the wind resistance, the better. Okay, it's really going to help you with your drive. So here we make our wind adjustment. We reach back. We pray to the golf clash gods for a perfect shot, and they do give us one. This is not one we want to shank into the rough for sure, or else we're going to be in a lot of trouble. All right, so there we go. We're on the fairway, which is all we're looking for. We're not going to be able to get the distance to do our backspin shot, which we know. So we're just going to take this one as safe as possible, okay? Here, I'm going to go with side spin to the right, combined with some top spin. I'm going to leave myself room on the right-hand side, as you can see, in case I hit a great right, because I know I'm going to be using curl. Obviously, if I'm aiming that far to the left of pin, I have to use curl to get this ball back towards the pin. So here, we make our adjustment. I use about half a ball of curl to the right, hit another perfect ball. And we zoop right on past the hole, but that's all good. We're going to take our eagle all day on this tougher drive and then head on to hole number 4. Okay, I'm going to show you this replay first. Practice mode. I spend so much time in practice and so many balls in practice mode. It's driving me crazy, but 3 bars of side spin to the right, and here you're going to see this is almost 1 back, but not quite. White ring on the rough line over here, okay? And then look at this. Here's our bouncing scenario. This is what I'm looking at. Notice at the very end of the ball guideline is touching the bottom corner, right-hand corner of that light green square. I guess you could even take a look at the second bounce too for a reference point. Our second bounce is on the fringe. Kind of like the beginning part of the fringe. Again, this is 10% at mid, so 1 to 1. And I guess this is the trick to get the ball to go into the hole, is to hit a great left. Because, yeah, it goes in for a hole in one. But here's a perfect shot. Same spin, one back this time. Well, almost. I guess it's the same thing, 0.9. And I try to mimic that landing spot. Just like that. But hey, I hope you're finding this helpful. Again, I hope you subscribe. I hope you hit thumbs up. And I hope I'm doing a great job for you. If you have the means to support my channel, I really, really, really appreciate anybody who does that. It helps me replenish practice tokens, helps me replenish the balls for sure. And I'm very, very grateful. I put a link to my PayPal in the comments section below. As always, I just really love everybody's support. Look at that one. So close. I guess if I hit a great left, it would have gone in. But hey, that's it. I'll do the rest tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.